Good day, Mzansi, and welcome to Defense in Focus, a podcast about all things Defense Force. And my name is Giboni Ramasimung, and I am your host today. Like in no other fashion, we bring you about the nitty-gritties of what goes on in the SANDF, and today is no different. We have in studio an amazing person that will speak to us about the South African Army. And today we have Colonel Pikaan from SA Infantry Formation. Colonel Pikaan, how are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. I'm really looking forward to having this interview with you and the discussions with you.
We're going to be speaking about all things force preparation. But before we delve into that, please tell us more about yourself. How did you find yourself in this force?
I grew up in Oudtshoorn, where the School of Infantry is established. So when I was a small kid, I used to watch the paratroopers jumping out of the helicopters, and I was amazed by that. And as I grew up, we used to see people in uniform. We used to see them having drills inside the town, and I was fascinated. And then after matric, I went and worked at Checkers. I was trained as a professional chef, but something still bothered me about the military. Then at the age of 22, before cutoff date, which is 23, I took a chance and I applied and I was accepted. So I joined the Defence Force then on the 6th of August 1997 by the then South Col Women's College in George, which was later closed down. I followed the path of becoming an infantier because normally we wanted to be close by home, not knowing what a demanding corps I chose as a female.
I was about to step into that. When you were seeing these paratroopers jump off the aircrafts and people drilling, were there a lot of women in there?
None. No one at all.
So you thought you were the MacGyver woman that would join the men in the force?
I actually thought that somewhere in the lines there must be females, up until I got myself right in the middle of everything. And then it was not so funny anymore. I was not amused anymore. And yeah, it started there.
So at that point, you were like, I'd rather be chopping vegetables than doing this.
I was actually calling my mother and asking, am I a problem child? What do I do here? But, you know, as you grow, you actually started to enjoy. And I actually started to enjoy the training. I started to enjoy the adventures. I started to actually compete with the men. And I started to actually enjoy what I was doing. And it's when I grew a passion for infantry and for my job by then.
All right. So, Colonel, if you tell us about the story from leaving the women's college and now you are trained to be a military personnel and you choose infantry. Was there, other than being close to home, was there anything else that made you say infantry is for real soldiers? Because we are told, and I've been working in the military enough to know that the heart and the cream of the military is the infantry. In infantry formation, and you can't basically do anything without them. Was there something that inspired you to actually say, I want to be part of the infantry formation?
Yes, indeed. When we were still students at the South Col, the different corps and the different arms of services would come and they will sell their service or their corps. And infantry was the most excited one. It was the pictures they showed us, the equipment. So it's when I decided you did not make a wrong choice here.
It was force prep something that you wanted to go into, or it fell on you? I want you to take us through a story on how you find yourself in force prep.
After the women's college, I was placed out and I landed up in 12 side in Potchefstroom, and that was a deploying unit. By then, it was Chief SANDF's reserve. So I ended up by the dogs, working with the dogs, and I started to develop a love for the dogs. I first then did the normal dog handlers course, and then after that, I did the dog instructor's course, and that's where my passion for dogs started. I wrote my own curriculum. I specialized in narcotic detection dogs. So I was in that path of deploying with the dogs inside the border. And then 12 was closed down. So we were given no other choice than to go back to infantry school. I ended up at infantry school, and I was one of the first thoughts that was introducing Abed into the army. So from a dog instructor to becoming a facilitator was a total different path, which I also enjoyed because I learned something new. Then I got my qualifications at SANDF Colette, which is internationally recognized. And after I've trained the SA Army in ARBET, in outcome-based education and training, I was then transferred. It came out very simple. SA Army Infantry Formation had a parade, and this specific parade was done at Army College. And they were looking for a major to do the parade. And by then, I was in Pretoria at SANDF Colette with one of our contact sessions. And then I was being called to come and be the 2IC of that infantry formation parade. It was then that the former GOCSA Army Infantry Formation Major General T.M. Kabinde saw, but there's a female, and she's the 2IC of the parade. And then I was immediately after the parade transferred to Forsyth, and I became the 2IC of Forsyth, which is one of our units in Mpumalanga. I've then been the 2IC of Forsyth. Now they have taken me into the command line. From Forsyth, I was then transferred to CJ Ops, where I was SO1 Mission Readiness External. And that's where I started to develop the passion for force prep.
Okay, Colonel. I'm going to hold you right there because we're going to revisit this thought. I want us to speak about force prep. As people go through the MSD, the Military Skills Development System, from there, they get handed over to you. Am I correct? Or you will correct me if I'm wrong. And then that's when you start training people into the field that they are in terms of infantry and their different corps. What is the requirements for that?
Can I correct you?
Please.
We do basic military training where everyone is being trained the same. Basic military training entails getting you familiarized with discipline, getting you familiarized, and I'm talking specifically about infantry, our platoon weapons, our drills. So when you are done with basic military training, you then will be handed over to a deploying unit, and then you will be taught mission-specific training, which is different than the normal infantry corps training.
So when you were doing your training, was it particularly towards the training of troops for deployment?
Infantry troops are being trained conventional, which is what our doctrine currently is for deployment, as from an early stage as being a rifleman, which is actually part of infantry training. We train as we fight. So from the day you walk in, you are being trained into conventional to be able to deploy with immediate effect.
I like the idea of being training while we fight. Speak to us about the operations, especially those that we have internally, the operations that you got involved in and got to command.
Actually, I'm so super excited you're asking me this question because currently I'm having 5,200 troops in CTC, our Combat Training Center, which I'm preparing to deploy Ops Corona into the 7 provinces with effect from 1st of September. These were MSTS, that was the 2024 intake. We took them through the basic military training, through all the corps training, weapon training, and then we've sent them to our combat training center where we started to do combat readiness training and specifically concentrated on continuation training with regards to how we operate inside the borders and to protect the borders of the RSA.
Colonel, you speak about Ops Corona. Our viewers out there, they're probably thinking maybe COVID-19 or whatever, but it's not that. If you can explain deeper to us about Ops Corona, what is our responsibility there and what is it?
Ops Corona is border protection. We deploy all entities in 7 provinces. So Ops Corona means border protection and also the sovereignty of the people of South Africa by covering our borders 24/7.
Take us through to what goes on in the training of these troops before you deploy them to Ops Corona.
Infantry, SA Army Infantry formation is the biggest force contributor. So the Chief Army have decided, because previously we did our combat readiness training decentralized in the units. So from the units, they were normally handed over to CJ Ops. Then Chief Army came with a bright idea of making CTC, our combat training center, a mobilization center for the SA Army before they are being handed over to CJ Ops. The training that we are doing is preparation. What we do is we train them into the different driver trainings, because that is most of our vacancies previously. Currently, we are running a massive conversion driver training of 380 MSTS troops. So we do driver training with them, we do table 2 shooting with them, we do a bit of conventional training with them. We also then make sure that we logistically sustain them, we reissue them with uniform, we reissue them with kit, we reissue them with battle equipment, we get them ready as for come and take the package and deploy. So that is what we are currently doing in CTC. What we also do before we hand over, we do the medical clearance, we bring on SAMS as part of our team of combat readiness. So by the end of combat ready, Chief Army comes in and my GOC General Visit Ngobu then declared to Chief Army that this force is combat ready. Chief Army will then send in a team from Force Prep Level 2 under the command of General Dube, which will then go and verify what the Army Infantry formation has been doing to bring them to the status of combat ready. The SA Army Force Prep will then also do their verification, and then they write a CR certificate to Chief Army, which Chief Army will then hand over the CR certificate to CJ Ops, which will then also send in a team to come and verify before they are officially handed over for deployment.
Colonel, you speak about SAMS supporting you on this mission. What is the importance of their health? Because I'm just thinking there's like other adverse effects on anybody that's going out on deployment, your psychological well-being, your physical well-being. What is the grading there that you say this person is actually fit to go to deployment?
What we do, which is part of our combat readiness training, we do the program called ChatSec with them. That's preparing them to be away from home, to make sure there's a support system in place. Then we bring SAMs on board to make sure they are medical fit, because the requirements for deployment in or outside the borders remains the same. You must be G1, K1, or G2K1 green for internal deployment, which means we are deploying a healthy person. We cannot deploy a person that goes to the sick bay every second day, every third day. So we must make sure you are healthy and you comply to the prescriptions handed by us, by SAMS, Surgeon General.
Does the same procedure apply to the animals that are deployed as well?
Of course, we currently only deploy our horses and dogs in the Free State, and we deploy them with a vet. We do deploy them with a vet. And then the process of our animals is, in the mornings, the vet will check every animal, scan them, have a checkup with them. So it's a continuous process. So we actually give a lot of attention where we do deploy our SASI capabilities.
Oh, that is quite interesting, because I've seen your passion. Luckily for me, I'd had an opportunity to work with you in previous events where I've seen you there in charge with your SASIC capability, your canine capability, and the love and passion that you have for animals is really amazing. But speak to us about the events that we have that works as part of force preparation in terms of training. Events like the RAND show, like Armed Forces Day, where we are exhibiting our equipment and soldiers. What is the importance of those events for your force preparation?
Is to showcase the capabilities, and when we participate in events is where we showcase, we see where we lack, we go back and we fix. But the biggest preparation for our deployments is exercise Vukohlome, where we demonstrate and display our capabilities, which are right after exercise Vukohlome will then be ready to be deployed inside and outside the borders.
And what I want to speak about is the importance of such shows, that we know you also use the same methods of deploying people to go sit at the RAND show and speak about the rifle, or even go on that motorbike during the arena program. And I've seen you work with the troops, and as a commander, what does that mean to you, just showcasing our capability with so much pride and so much excellence?
The reason why we do it, it's like a small child. When you're a mother, you teach your child to say ma, and that will be a big achievement for you. The first steps will be a big achievement for you. I'm taking my force preparation the same as I'm raising a small kid. Every step is an achievement for me. If you can see the motorbike rider jumping over the bridge through the rings circle with fire, that's a big achievement, because to get him to that point of jumping through the circle, that's a lot of training. That is a lot of discipline. That is a lot of resources that we then put into that individual to get him to that standard, as then to showcase our capabilities.
Yeah, Colonel, maybe just to get to the end of our mission here today is, what kind of soldier are you looking for in the infantry environment? If there was like an ideal soldier for infantry, who are you gunning for?
Mentally and medical fit. That's very simple.
Yeah.
Of course, he or she must have a certain height. He or she must have a certain weight. And that will be my ideal infantry.
Thank you, Colonel, so much for coming through today. Indeed, we really are privileged and honored to have a woman of your stature to chat with us today. And for your future successes, please continue doing the hard work that you're doing. That's the time we've had with Colonel Pikaan today. We're really excited to have such a great colonel that is for infantry formation, and make sure that you do not miss our next episode, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for tuning in.